Radii Plus. Radii Plus brings a new standard to LED curing lights. With an extremely high intensity of 1500 milliwatts per square centimetre, a 5-year warranty, the choice of attachment tips, and an ergonomic and lightweight design, your wishes have been granted.
Hi, welcome to Product Review with John and Lou. I'm John Fluke, and playing Diana to my Prince Charles is my good pal, Dr. Lou Graham. Lou, this episode, let's talk about curing lights and the whole idea of curing and why curing is important.
Well, in 5 minutes, we know it's hard to talk about.
Absolutely.
But I will say curing lights are probably the most, they're the unsung hero in adhesion dentistry. You have to know proper light techniques, have a really good light, and know how to use that light. Otherwise, you could be using the best bonding agent, the greatest composite, and you know what? It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I call it the stepchild of adhesive dentistry.
Right.
You know, nobody pays attention to it. They think as long as it's blue, it's good, and there's a lot more to it than that.
And there's a tremendous amount to it. So I think one of the most important aspects are when choosing a light, are you just using the light to cure composites? Is it for veneer replacement? Is it for, you know, are there other uses of lights today?
Yes.
And I think we all see different modalities for lights versus just curing a composite. There's so much more to the science behind the lights. So let's start talking about what you look for in a light and what lights you like.
Okay. I have gone completely away from the gun style personally. I like what I call the toothbrush style. You know, they look more like a powered toothbrush now, and that's for ease of access.
Me too.
That low profile
Me too.
makes it much easier.
Yep.
I also look for something that is bright. I like the LEDs into the head of the device, and I look for something that doesn't have a lot of different variations. I want maybe, like a 10, a 20, and maybe a 5-second cure. But I don't need like 19 different settings on the thing either.
Okay.
What about you?
I look for, at this point, either a light that's going to give me the power I want in a collimated fashion.
Absolutely.
Which we're going to talk about.
Right.
Or a light, if it's not collimated, that's got plenty of power. So I'm going to cure those difficult accessible areas. But I'm also looking for lights that can maybe give me add-ons. So I think one of the things that we should talk about are products like Ultradense Velo light.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also SDI's Radii Plus light, because those lights offer more than just a traditional cure.
Yeah.
Why don't you take the Velo?
Okay, the Velo, it's a tremendous light.
Yep.
It's incredibly bright. It is made out of literally aerospace grade aluminum. It's not plastic. It's made out of the same stuff that they make literally missiles and rockets out of. It can withstand 300 drops from the height of a counter onto concrete before
Don't look
it
at me
fails.
and talk about drops. Just keep going.
It also, one of the neat things about the Velo is that it is collimated and it has a focusing lens. You know, most of your lights have just a flat end and that's where the light comes out of, and the Velo actually has a curved lens and it focuses the light so that you don't lose intensity all over the place. And one of the problems we always have initially when you're curing is into the proximal box, and that collimated beam going into the proximal box makes a really big difference.
And for the audience, what that really means is you're not losing as much energy as you are from a non-collimated or a turbo tip light. It's a really important point.
Absolutely.
So as you go deeper in the box, you'll sometimes lose about half the energy at 7, maybe to 10 millimeters away versus 3/4 of the energy.
Right.
This does keep it in a collimated manner. It's an important part. No question. What else? Let me ask you about the Velo light.
Okay.
What setting do you like to leave it on?
I usually do most of my curing on the 10-second setting.
And power-wise?
Power-wise, medium.
Okay. But it comes in different power settings. Am I wrong on the
Yeah,
Velo
no,
light?
you're right. It can go from a low and a medium and a high.
Right.
And the low is around, I believe, about 1,200 milliwatts per square centimeter. It goes up from there.
Okay. And with the Radii light, the reason I also like that light is it has multiple different tips, like the Velo light.
Yes, the Velo does have the little tips that they're magnetic, and they simply snap onto the ring, held with magnets.
Like for tack curing, delayed curing.
Right, curing into the proximal box. There's even a little tip that helps you go in there and helps you hold the matrix band against the adjacent tooth. Those kind of little add-ons are nice.
I like the fact with the Radii Plus light, and there are other lights on the market where you can take off the LED tip and now hook on an orthodontic tip, which gives what we call 5 minutes of 10-second beeps,
right.
or even a diagnostic light, which I absolutely swear by that, and we'll talk about this in the future, transillumination.
Yeah, the diagnostic tips and the transillumination, you're right. I mean, we're going to do a whole segment on
Right.
that because it's that important. But having those options are huge, because when you're going to spend, you know, $1,000
Right.
for a light,
Or more.
anytime it can do more,
And
then
I think also Ivoclar's Blue Phase series are also, it's a very good light series.
You know, anybody that's looking at a light right now, I really think should look at a broad spectrum light. And currently that would be the Velo, it would be the Blue Phase Style, and it would also be Dentsply Smart Light Max, which will cure everything on the market. They're not just a light. Most lights on the market are 450 to 470 nanometers, and that cures camphor-quinone,
Right.
which is what almost all composites use. But there are a few proprietary initiators, and those require a broader spectrum. And those particular 3 lights are broad spectrum lights.
And I think the final issue that we should talk about really is these hot and cold spots. You know,
Yes.
so many times you get in this thing, oh, I'll buy a $299 light from China.
Right.
Well, let me tell you why you don't want to buy a $299 light from China. It's this hot and cold spot
Yes.
issue. And so what happens is you think
tell
a
'em about
light,
it.
you think a light has blue energy, the blue energy comes out, the material says that it's hard. Well, it looks hard, it feels hard,
Right.
but there's so much what we call unpolymerized
Yeah.
resin or polymers or
Right.
whatnot in the shape. So what I can tell you is, with hot spots, you don't want to overheat the tooth.
Right.
With cold spots, it's undercured. So
Yes.
like even, let's take Dentsply. They're going to move into a light that has what Velo has in other companies, what they call good light distribution.
Yes.
Minimizing hot, minimizing cold, good even distribution. You should be asking for this when you're looking at a light.
You don't want what I call candy composites, which
Yeah.
are crunchy on the outside,
Right.
chewy on the inside, you know?
Oh my God.
Hey, it makes sense. It affects, you know, sensitivity, it affects
It
long-term
affects a lot.
durability, a lot of stuff.
And listen, we're only touching on light curing. You need to investigate it more into webinars and hands-on training and live training. But with that, thanks so much for your time. More tips, tricks, and truth and product review. In the next episode, we'll be together. We'll see you soon.
Bye, Diana.
I'm calling.